This is Prince Hanley coming to you today with 100,000 watts of pure love. The voice to Israel and for Israel. Today I want to talk to you about several very important things for Israel. I want to talk to you about Syria, North Korea, and Iran. I want to talk to you specifically about the Mossad and give some recommendations for the Mossad. And then I want to talk to you about military secrets and prophets, Navi'im, and I want to talk to you finally about Iran and prophecy, the word of the Lord for Israel today. First, let's talk about Syria, North Korea, and Iran. The Los Angeles Times reported on Wednesday that Syria had a covert nuclear reactor for production of plutonium and was partially funded by North Korea. The reactor was bombed last September 6th before it attained its planned capacity to manufacture plutonium for nuclear weapons, the CIA says. Referring to Syria's covert nuclear reactor, which was damaged beyond repair on September 6th of last year, the statement last Thursday by White House Press Secretary Dana Perino sharply criticized Syria, but did not mention that it was Israel that destroyed the nuclear reactor. Shortly after the Israeli attack, Syria bulldozed the area and constructed a new building there, which it has not allowed foreign visitors to enter. Check this out. Syrian media reported on Wednesday that Prime Minister Ihud Omer has agreed to hand over the entire Golan Heights to Syria. What a paradox. Israel's military wiping out a nuclear installation in Syria, and then Omer proposing to give away land that belongs to Israel to the Syrians. Now let's talk about the Mossad. The Mossad, Lemodoin Velatafkedim Mayahadim, the Institute for Intelligence and Spatial Operations, through an OTER, was able to place a plant inside the reactor compound to obtain high-detail photos. The CIA displayed to U.S. lawmakers images of a concrete floor from these photos with rows of holes ready for nuclear fuel rods to power the facility. One source said this: Assad's most treasured secrets and security were shown to the world as having been blown wide open when the regime that he heads depends for its survival on a battery of secret police and undercover agencies with eyes and ears everywhere. Israel's successful raid proved that Syria's military establishment was penetrated as fatally as her secret service was. Let me say here that with all due respect to the Mossad and their use of Qatzas, the Yarid and Neviot, Sayanim, Shikluts and Marats, and an occasional Arab Oter, that God does not even need spies. Question: when will the leadership of Israel, especially the IDF and the Mossad, get smarter and start working with modern-day Ruach HaKodesh prophets, Navi'im, Spirit-filled Messianic Jews or Hebrew Christians who have the gifts of the Spirit of God operating in and through them, the word of knowledge, the word of wisdom, the gift of discernment, prophecy, and miracles? Now let's talk about military secrets and prophets, Navi'im. Concerning the military secrets of Syria, let me remind you of a historical record in the Tanakh, in the record of the kings of Israel. We read an interesting passage. Now the king of Syria was warring against Israel, and he took counsel with his servants, saying, "In such a place will be my camp." The man of God, Elisha, received a revelation in the Spirit, and he sent to the king of Israel, saying, "Beware that you do not pass such a place, for there the Syrians are coming down." The king of Israel sent to that place which the man of God told him and warned him of, and the king saved himself there and his armies not once, not twice. The heart of the king of Syria was sore troubled for this thing, this revelation of his military secret. And he called his servants, and he said to them, "Won't you show me which of us is for the king of Israel?" In other words, who is the mole inside our facility? One of his servants says, "No, my lord, O king, but it is Elisha the prophet who is in Israel. He tells the king of Israel the words that you speak in your bedchamber." Over a year ago on this podcast, I gave information about terrorist plans against Hebrew University at Mount Scopus, starting via the desert, not the highway, from 30 kilometers south of Eilat, inland from the Gulf of Aqaba, to a Bedouin camp southeast of Jerusalem, and then on into the city. By providing this information and by listeners of this podcast being able to disseminate information, we may help the Mossad and IDF to act on such matters, or stopping such attacks by letting terrorists know that their plans are revealed. Thanks for your help. Toda Rabah. Diplomatic relations between Syria will be greatly disjointed by the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency revelations. A beautiful strategic rupture. Iran's makeup is worn off. She looks very old, haggard, and stupid right now, not like a strong Middle East military front. Iran needs to realize that she is unguarded and not impregnable in the sight of Israel. Syria built their nuclear reactor with Iran's agreement. The Syrian plant was supposed to be an integral part of Iran's own nuclear program. Iran's own secret nuclear devices and locations likewise should be subject to the same destruction, and soon. Hopefully Israel will take my advice I've been giving for some months and attack Iran now. The Israeli attack on the Syrian reactor was a giant embarrassment for Iran as well as for Assad. Israel is to be congratulated. Tov miod, it's the only country in the world to have ever destroyed two different enemy nuclear reactors in two different countries by itself. And now let's talk about Iran and prophecy, the word of the Lord. U.S. Defense Secretary Robert Gates said he favored keeping the military option against Iran on the table, given the destabilizing policies of the regime and the risk inherent in a future Iranian nuclear threat, either directly or through proliferation. Let me add my note here, such as the one destroyed in Syria. Major General Eliezer Shchedi tells CBS News 60 Minutes' Bob Simon that Mahmoud Ahmadinejad's threats against Israel must be taken extremely seriously. In an interview aired yesterday, April 27th, the general said, "I think it is a very serious threat to the state of Israel, but more than this, to the whole world. They're talking about destroying and wiping us from the earth." He said it reminds him of the Holocaust. We should remember, we cannot forget, we should trust only ourselves. Concerning General Shchedi's remark, we should trust only ourselves, I agree wholeheartedly. Even though large U.S. naval, air, and marine forces are on their way to beef up the Fifth Fleet in the Persian Gulf in the Middle East, and another nuclear aircraft carrier, the USS Abraham Lincoln, will soon set out for the region from the South China Sea, along with two more U.S. naval strike forces, the USS Kitty Hawk and USS Nimitz. Don't lean on them, Israel. Trust yourselves. General Skady likened ignoring Ahmadinejad today to the atmosphere that enabled the Holocaust yesterday. In those days, people didn't believe Hitler was serious about what he said. I suggest we do not repeat this way of thinking and prepare ourselves for everything. Let me prophesy here that God creates and allows situations to happen when and where He will get the glory. Why? So people, both Jews and Goyim alike, will know that He is God. God told Ezekiel the Kohen, I will magnify myself and sanctify myself, and I will make myself known in the eyes of many nations, and they shall know that I am the Lord. You can read that in the Tanakh, in Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 23. Veterans of the 1981 Israeli mission, which destroyed Saddam Hussein's nuclear reactor in Iraq, told the CBS interviewer, Israelis hope that they won't have to undertake such a mission today, but a bombing mission to Iran is a different thing. Ziv Raz, commander of that mission, compared the situations as follows. We had 1 point to destroy in Iraq. They, Iran, have many points, many of them deep under the mountains, underground, and it's a much more complicated problem than in 1981. I hope it will be solved another way. Raz commented, the only thing worse than the Israeli Air Force having to do it is Iran having a nuclear bomb. General Ziv Levy, an Air Force base commander, said, we spend a lot of time and a lot of effort in training and being prepared for the very worst. We cannot lose a single war. The first war we lose, Israel will cease to exist. Remember what I said a few podcasts ago. Israel, this is the word of the Lord. Attack Iran now, before it's too late. If you don't, it will be too late. We have to be ready, Joshua told the people. Israel, you have to be confrontational with the help of Almighty God. Obey God and let the power of the Lord invade the earth through you. And this is Prince Handley coming to you with 100,000 watts of pure love. Baruch haba b'shem Adonai.